It's the year of the exciting intro. Everyone's a little fucking bitch. Everyone's kind of dividing into smaller and smaller groups and trying hard to disagree. It seems like every time we release a record, everybody thinks it's about the current American president. Meritocracy is something to strive for, but it's such a misunderstood concept. The people that talk about meritocracy the most, they think that all the privilege they have was deserved. I think being a human being, not being like an artist, is more about compromise than just like stubbornly claiming your way. It seems like most things are getting worse, and I don't want it that way. Yeah. Might end up in prison in El Salvador instead of on a US tour, who knows. Second is in Madrid, movie star arena, and the other one is in Barcelona, the first one, but I don't know what that place is called, but it's gonna be cool.
Buenas tardes, Pelle. ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal? Muy bien.
Bueno, estoy encantada de recibirte hoy. Cuando me dijeron que venías, no me lo podía creer. Así que bienvenido. ¿Te lo estás pasando bien en Madrid? Are you having a good time in Madrid?
Sí, sí. Claro que sí, muy bien.
Any favorite places here?
So far? I don't know, but I came last night. I only went to a bar called Gato. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
But
okay.
I was sitting outside having beer, and it was like sitting outside and having beer. It was beautiful.
Well, I think that's the true experience. I mean,
yeah.
What else do you want from the city? It's the best.
That's all I want from anywhere.
Yeah. Absolutely. But we're here to talk about the album, though.
Okay.
Which is very exciting and very good.
Thank you very much.
Loved it.
You heard it? Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah. Twice in a row.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Hives album.
Oh, yeah? Actually?
Yeah.
Ooh. Exciting.
I mean, it's new, but also I feel like maybe it is. Maybe it's going to stay that way. We'll see.
Oh, my God. I hope so. I mean, I'll tell you about my favorite songs later. But, yeah. So let's go through it and discuss some of the ideas that popped in my head when I listened to it and you know, listening to the lyrics and stuff. So first of all, what I found is quite a spooky introduction. It's like a little scary. What's the meaning behind that?
It's a sound I found when we were doing a BBC session, you know, these Peel sessions that they do at the BBC.
Yeah.
And they have this big building that they now sold to Hans Zimmer, the movie composer.
Yep.
But it's this big building, and you're walking around, you're in your little studio, and then you walk away, and I opened the door, and there was a symphony orchestra in there warming up.
Oh.
And it's the most terrifying sound I've ever heard. So I wanted to start the record with the warming up of a symphony orchestra, and then we, as the rock band, come in.
Okay.
So that's why, but also, yeah, maybe it does sound spooky, but that's because it's all like atonal and I like spooky.
Oh, I like spooky too. In fact, I just came back from, they also came back from Primavera Sound in Barcelona, and I saw Chapel Roan. Do you know of her?
Yeah.
And her intro was also a little bit scary, and there was like some big cat eyes. So
maybe exciting. It's the year of the exciting intro, the spooky intro.
Absolutely. And you know, when you listen to someone's music and you're trying really hard to find meaning into something, when sometimes the artist didn't even mean to put that much meaning. But I was like, okay, what might this mean? Maybe this is portraying the weird and scary present we're living at the moment. But like, just Hans Zimmer, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's but also using Beethoven's Fifth, which is apparently the world's most recognizable music, but playing it on like electric guitar. I just feel like when you hear that da 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 da, that's when you know something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we wanted to start the album with that. It was also what they used as the code for D-Day.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Ooh.
This is like our D-Day, I suppose.
Oh, my God. Are you saving us from something? Well,
I'm trying to. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's plenty of things.
The record's not even out yet, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see. Let's hope we're not spoiling too much. But then later on, we find enough is enough.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're very mad and very pissed off.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can very easily think about many things that can make us angry at the moment. So what is it that you can't take no more?
Well, I guess the first line, we had to fight for that because like we weren't all agreeing that we were going to start the record that obnoxiously.
You're a punk band.
Took out too much space or whatever. But the record starts, everyone's a little fucking bitch. And it was about people not, I mean, everyone's kind of dividing into smaller and smaller groups and trying hard to disagree. So I think it was kind of about that. I think if you've ever spent like 5 minutes on social media, you kind of know the feeling.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was wondering if...
But I also want it to be something you can use for whatever you're pissed off at. That's why I don't want to explain too much what I'm particularly pissed off by.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, first thing that came to my head, obviously, is like the current political climate, because then you've got like people doing whatever here and people doing whatever over there.
Yeah.
So is that something that makes you angry, I guess? Something
or like it makes me exhausted, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think being a human being, not being like an artist, but being a human being is more about compromise than just like stubbornly claiming your way. I think there's also a line about a fool is king and all that. But it's all, the songs on the record are like a few years old, but it's become pretty prophetic. Like it seems like I recognize what we wrote, you know, a couple of years ago now more than I did then.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was feeling. I was like, okay, this is they're angry. They could be angry about anything, whatever. They could be angry about the color of the wall that their mother painted, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're living in a time where we can very easily be mad at a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like most things are getting worse.
Yeah.
And I don't want it that way.
And then, what can I say? Absolutely. And then, anyway, but then we got Hooray, Hooray, Hooray. And I'm going to go ahead and dare say that we both agree on something and that we hate spoiled brats. I mean, at least I hate spoiled brats. Yeah. And in my case, especially when they don't use their privilege for something, you know, for good.
Yeah, that's why it's a spoiled brat.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it'd just be a nice guy with money.
Exactly.
Or girl.
Yeah. And I loved the line, see, he built it with his own 2 hands and a couple mil he got from dad. Like, I think that was, that was
That's
genius.
usually what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of bragging about what you made, but maybe you start, I mean, we're not living in a time with an even playing field. It's like a football pitch that's like this, and, you know, that's like the opposite of meritocracy.
Exactly. Yeah, so exactly. So I wanted to ask you, who are we talking about here? Are we talking about artists, businessmen, politicians?
There's a lot of them, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about a few specific ones. Like different lines are about different specific ones. But
actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not sure how much I want to divulge beyond that, but
whatever.
Some of them extremely famous, some of them in my closer circle.
Okay. Well, yeah. Do you think
use it on your own spoiled brat, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. But do you think you could get in trouble if you revealed the people you're talking about?
Not really. Or like you never know these days, right?
Yeah.
Might end up in prison in El Salvador.
Oh my God!
Instead of on a U.S. tour, who knows?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, well, okay. Good. That's a good hint. No, but you know, actually, like not so long ago, we had this actor that came to the podcast here, and he talked about his views on Palestine, and we asked him, hey, aren't you scared to talk about these topics?
Oh, yeah.
And then he said, like, well, no, because whatever wrong thing happens to me is nothing compared to what's going on to them.
Yeah,
so, like,
sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I think the idea is, you know, interesting to see whether you want to say who it is.
Well, it's not so much about who it is, but because it's like sort of like we had the same thing when we release. It seems like every time we release a record, everybody thinks it's about the current American president. Yeah. Like when we released Walk It Walk, everyone's like, oh, it's about Bush, and maybe it is because you know I watch the news and stuff, but. It's not so well thought out, I think. It's just like the lyrics end up being what the lyrics are, and then I gotta like reverse engineer a meaning, almost. Like it just that's the way it came out, and it's a little prophetic, and you know that's cool.
That's cool, and I mean, I guess it's on them for you know, like if you behave well, then you don't relate to the songs. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not even sure it's gonna reach the people it needs to reach, but. It would be good if it did, maybe.
That would be amazing. And how do you see, like, what are your views on nepotism and, like, because you talked about meritocracy, right?
Yeah, well, I think meritocracy is something to strive for, but it's such a misunderstood concept. If you have, if you tax labor but not inheritance, that's the opposite of meritocracy.
Yeah.
But the people that talk about meritocracy the most are people like on the right who think that like they're, they think that all the privilege they have was deserved by someone, or like for some reason they deserve that, or it's like a meritocracy. But so the weird thing is that people I hear talk the most about meritocracy are people who inherited money.
Yeah.
But you can't have meritocracy in second and third generation, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
So yeah, like if you tax inheritance and not labor, you'd have a meritocracy.
That would be interesting.
That's my views on tax policy.
Actually, you know what?
Is this what the interview is about?
Different songs, different questions.
Great.
But yeah,
I can't wait to see where this is going. It's fun already.
It's going. Do you think?
Yeah, it's going well.
Nice. So about nepotism and like stuff, how hard is it to stay afloat in the industry if you're not well connected and you don't know the right people?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there was a time, I guess, when there were gatekeepers you needed to impress in order to get like the right festival slots or get in the right magazines. And like when we broke through, it was very much a gatekeeper's world. Like it was you needed to impress the right people, basically. But I think it's more democratic now in a way where if you can have a crowd, you don't really need gatekeepers. And you can reach the crowd yourself now. Like if you start a band now or you're an artist or whatever, you can, through some luck and clever maneuvering, get an audience via social media that have nothing to do with any gatekeepers.
Yeah, for sure.
Because once we got past that gatekeeper phase where we're already popular, then we can do whatever we want, basically. Yeah. But amazing. It was like a big hurdle. But I mean, we were never really interested in that because there was gatekeepers in Sweden, but we immediately started going abroad playing. We wanted people to see the band. So yeah, but I think it's hard to stay afloat in music, period.
Yeah.
Because it's like it used to be you got like kind of paid for the recorded music, the touring, and then like there's like publishing and like all that stuff. And now it's basically touring.
Oh my God, aren't you tired?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's almost a little cool because then you gotta work.
Yeah.
It's just become labor.
Yeah.
It used to be a thing where you could like make a hit and you'd be financially independent the rest of the life. We know this Swedish artist who had a hit in the 80s, like one hit. He's still financially independent. And we've had numerous international hits, and we still got to work.
Oh my God! Well, that makes your life interesting, and I think it's.
Thank you, streaming services.
Oh, thank you. Now you don't sell records. Fuck, I forgot. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, I think the reason why you're keeping your audience so well, also, there's a really popular song in Spain by a group called Carolina Durante, and it says we used to hate the same things, and nothing pulls up together. Like that's what joins us the most
when we hate things in common.
Yeah,
Sure.
And I think that's what punk is about sometimes.
Well, it really was like when we were starting out, and punk was like all the other punk bands were like us versus them, kind of like unite, like the sentiment of like punk when we was very much like we got to unite against the man and whatever. But we always felt like it was more me against everyone else. Oh. Like that was more punk. But yeah, maybe slightly more psychopathic. But we just thought it sounded cooler when you said that. Like it has more balls than if you have like a crew. You got to be alone.
Oh, you're such a loner. Oh my God, you're playing interesting.
Am I not doing it well though?
Oh, you're doing amazing. I mean,
yeah, great.
Look at you. You have we think, well, it's Movistar Arena ahora, no? It's not, well, no, you have a Movistar Arena in November, which, by the way, I want tickets to that. Please.
We'll sort it out. I got tickets.
You got tickets?
A bigger show, so I suppose, apparently there's like low ticket count, but you can sort out tickets. We got guest list.
Pinky promise.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, let's move on to Bad Call.
Okay, cool.
Again, I read the lyrics, I do whatever the fuck I want with them.
They're yours to do whatever you want with.
You probably didn't mean anything of what I understood, but I do whatever the fuck I want with them. But I saw, you want it, you don't have it, you can earn it, so you steal it.
Yeah.
Sounds oddly familiar nowadays.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so yeah, though it might not have been your intention, it really reminded me of what's happening with Israel and Palestine, and also the deportations in the United States.
Well, all land is stolen.
Absolutely.
At some point.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's being live streamed at the moment, so it's I guess it's more
Yeah,
alarming.
I remember the first live streamed war, or like I was sick at home during the Kuwait war, Operation Desert Storm. And I watched the whole thing from my sickbed, like on television when I was a kid. And I felt like this is like a shift in reality almost. Like I guess Vietnam was the first war where it was, you know, televised, and it changed the public perception of the war.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess before that, all wars were like heroic. Like
Exactly.
when I have a Spanish relative who, when he went to school in Spain in maybe the 60s or something, and he said that all our textbooks said the conquistadors were heroes. And, you know, maybe that's a little reevaluated now.
Yeah. And
the Vikings, you know.
Oh, the Vikings, you know.
Like if you read the Viking stories in Sweden, it's all about their heroic escapades and, you know, whatever. And then you go to England and there's like, it's just raping and pillaging, you know, killing people.
Yeah.
So, you know, there is that.
Yeah, I went to Stockholm last year in summer, and I did a little, you know, research, and it was interesting to say the least.
One man's hero is another man's villain. There's a king in Denmark.
Yeah.
Who in Sweden is called Christian the Tyrant, and in Denmark it's called Christian the Great.
Yeah.
I think that's all you need to know about history and the winners writing the history books.
Absolutely. Yeah. For sure. And what do you think of artists who speak very loudly about this? For example, like as I said, we went to Primavera Sound.
Yeah, it's great.
And we saw Fontaines DC, which did a really loud calling out, and they wrote in capital huge letters in front of thousands of people.
Was that at all connected, because that festival is like owned by Israel or Israeli company or something?
I'm not sure if it was that one.
Did it have anything to do with that?
No, it's a Sonar, not that one. Yeah. Actually, at the Sonar Festival, which was, you know, sort of connected, so many artists withdrew and left.
Yeah. I wasn't really following it. I just heard something about it a few days ago.
Yeah. No, but with what happened with Fontaines is that they just spoke out.
Yeah.
They spoke up, and I was curious to see what you feel.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a little bit your job as an artist to speak out, but you gotta kind of all agree.
Yeah.
If you're a band, and you gotta be like agreeing that that's what you're gonna do. You know, there's some bands, you know, that disagree, and then it becomes pretty problematic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're one of those bands, but it's, you know, it's become a thing now where, like, what do you do then?
Yeah, also it can be dangerous, I guess. Like, as you said, like maybe.
I don't know about, like.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's actually dangerous. Is it like? It's also kind of like. I think it could also be like a good thing, because I'm assuming most of Fontaine's fans agree.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know.
Everyone cheered in the.
Yeah, there you go. So maybe it wasn't that risky.
Yeah, I know, but I think it was a couple of years ago. Fontaine's went to the United States and did that, and apparently they were kicked out.
Yeah, exactly.
And fined or something, whatever.
Yeah, good for them. I mean, I think they should keep it up, guys. I don't know. I mean, I think it's like kind of a privilege of an artist, like a court jester a little bit. Like you're the person that can say the thing that other people can't say. So I think that's great.
That's good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. We cheered loudly.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway,
good for you.
It was such a privilege to be there. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like front row to this thing. Anyway, next up is my favorite song of the album.
Ooh, what is it? Which one?
Legalized Living.
Oh, cool. Great.
I love it.
I like that one too.
And it's catchy. Your leash is getting shorter and the walls are closing. Anything you're into, they are saying it's a sin. Ain't gonna follow the law until they legalize living. How have things changed in the industry since the Hives started?
In the industry, specifically?
Yeah. Well, in general, but like let's start
with the
music.
Start with what you know. I don't even know if I know it. Well, the thing that's changed the most, like when we started, it was still very much like physical, you sold records. And then it was like, when we signed to like the bigger labels, it was a big hoopla about piracy and how they were going to stop piracy. We kind of knew that they weren't going to be able to do that because once you, like the music industry made so much money when they changed from vinyl to CDs. But what you did then is you made everything ones and zeros. Like at the minute you made it a CD, I mean, first it was cassettes was a big problem, right? And then CDs, and then, you know, instant file sharing across the whole world. The CD made that possible because it's already ones and zeros, so you can just email it to people.
Yeah.
And they were going to stop that through some like copy protection and stuff. And we felt like it was kind of the last days of the Roman Empire. So we're like, yeah, just give us the biggest advance you can, please.
Please, now.
And then since then, you know, streaming, in a way, kind of gave power back to the big record labels. But I don't really know, like, because for most of recorded music's history, the artists didn't make much money. Like, you got famous and you could do shows. Like, in the 50s and 60s, they didn't pay artists. Like, maybe not in the 70s. Like, in the 70s, you know, they started paying the Eagles or whatever. But it wasn't like everyone made a lot of money. So I think it's pretty much like, I think the CD era was like, people made so much money on recorded music, like I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But I think that's like a blip in history. Like,
yeah,
for most of history, you didn't become rich playing music.
I'm 26, and I remember CDs arriving and leaving, and I'm only 26.
Yeah,
so
sure. Yeah. And now you can get the music anywhere, which is like, there's a pro and a con. The good thing is that, well, it sounds pretty terrible. So if you want to actually hear the music, you still got to buy the physical product. But then, you know, if you're interested in a band, you can check them out immediately, and then go see the show and buy a T-shirt, whatever. Like, since we got big advances at some point, I'm fine financially, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's good. That's amazing.
But I mean, I feel sorry. It's probably really difficult. It's easy to be an artist now and get to a certain level. Yeah. But it's really hard to pass through that kind of. There's like kind of a glass ceiling where you can have a following online and stuff. One. There is an actual glass ceiling in here. Has it ever bothered you?
No, well, only if I'm wearing a skirt.
There's some cracks in it too. Like maybe it should bother you a bit more.
Those are cables.
No, that one is a crack.
Oh God. Well, I will
You
not.
want to switch seats?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't want to be sued. No, yeah, and yeah, but have any stupid rules emerged? Because like, I feel like society is becoming more uptight with time. Yeah. But we're doing the same thing. Not necessarily the music industry, though, was what I was thinking. But the rest of the world, it does feel like it's kind of... Yeah. Like, I feel like, well, I wrote this whole thought that I thought. It was like, I feel like we're doing the same things that were being advertised in the past. As in, like, before, you know, rock music would be like drugs and alcohol and parties. And now it's like... No, now we have to do yoga and eat healthy, but we still do those things.
Yeah,
so like, so I feel like that's what this song reminded me of. So like, are we becoming more uptight? It's kind of about
personal freedom, I guess. Yeah? Like it, you know, it does feel like stuff is getting more and more restrictive, or like thoughts are getting restricted. There's an illusion of freedom, I suppose. Oh. There's like, you can choose between these two chocolate bars. Like, that's freedom now. But there's more to being a human than choosing between chocolate bars. Yeah. How have you seen that change then? Like, what was it like before? I guess there was a sense of freedom in not being surveilled all the time. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not even saying that there is like some big conspiracy. You don't even need a big conspiracy, because interests converge and all the information about everyone is like available, and you know that ends up being marketing, and it ends up being shrinking your choices, I suppose. Like streamlining. Whoever pays the most for advertising, that's whose product you're going to buy. But whereas it was a bit more lawless before, you know. I mean, I think it happens with most new technologies where there's like this promise of this is going to solve everything. Like the internet was going to make us all free.
Oh.
How did that work out?
Well,
I have a matchbox. It's like an antique matchbox that I bought at a yard sale close to our summer house. And it's a bronze from the World Exhibit in Stockholm in like 1912 or something. And it has a poem about the automobile on it.
oh my way.
And it's like, I will bring the peoples together. I will create peace in our time. I am the automobile. I'm like,
Wow.
nah, that's not exactly what happened. But I guess every time mankind invents something awesome, they're like, this is going to solve everything.
And
And
then-
it kind of never does.
Yeah, it just
So
kind
I
of.
guess we're in like internet hangover now.
Yeah, it makes us really dependent, which actually I was going to ask you about that later. So let's do that now.
Nice segue.
Yeah, no, but there was a song afterwards, like Born a Rebel, and you say they've got rules for the rules and they've got tools for the fools.
Yeah.
And that really made me think of AI, like artificial intelligence, tools for the fools, because it's
Yeah, sure.
yeah. So do you think people are becoming dumber from all these new technological tools?
Well, there is pretty solid research that
Yeah.
there's a lot of evidence that that's actually what happened. It's not just me thinking that.
Yeah.
Like there's evidence that the gray matter shrinks after you spend enough hours online, and all this stuff. So yeah, that's not me just thinking it. That's the way it is.
Yeah, that's just
It's like, do you think climate change? I mean, yeah, probably. Looks like. I mean, if 99.9 of the world's scientists say it is, it's probably true.
Yeah.
I don't know better than them. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, well, great answer. Yeah. Yeah, I think. So, as a consequence of this, yeah, so it may be true, but like, so does that mean that younger generations are going to have a harder time developing critical thinking? Because, like, I feel like internet was supposed to be this tool that was going to bring us closer to the things that interest us,
Yeah.
and like information and new music. And then if you want to know about this new genre of music, you don't have to buy it, you just can. But instead, it's just making us not think for ourselves, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe. I believe in humans, though. I mean, people are still going to think for themselves. But I think it's like,
Are you sure?
the theory is that this is like a step towards the singularity.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I'm not that interested in that. Like, I'm not that interested in having my conscious uploaded to a cloud or whatever it is. Because I think the whole point of being a human being is that I get to be me. I get to be here and talk to you. And I don't, you're not talking to a copy of me. Even if it's a great copy, there's no connection, like there's no communication between humans.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like, I don't know what I'm talking about, all this. So the scary thing is there's less communication because you can make like, you can hang out with artificial things instead. You don't have to have a friend that disagrees with you.
Exactly.
You can just create a friend that agrees with you all the time, or like a perfect girlfriend or boyfriend that never disagrees with you. And I think disagreeing is kind of the coolest thing about being a human. Figuring out disagreements, that's why I've been in a band for 33 years.
Which brings us back to
It's
punk.
hopeful, it's hopeless.
Oh, yeah?
And then I like doing hopeless things and impossible things and things, because that's kind of the awkward stuff is what makes me feel alive, not the perfect stuff.
Right.
And I think art is like communication between humans. So, I mean, there's a loss of communication maybe. And the other thing is that there used to be a time, or like in every other time in history, if we didn't like the leaders, we could chop their heads off.
Oh,
Or we could get rid of
some
them.
did.
But the problem now is if the leader has a drone army, you're maybe not going to win. So that's a difference too.
Yeah, that's going on. Yeah, that's not nice, right? Well,
I don't think it's nice.
no, I don't think it's very nice. It's a little
I
complicated.
think very few people think it's nice, but it's the people with the drone army that thinks it's nice, maybe.
I like the
I'm
way
pretty
you
sure
speak.
no one without a drone army thinks that's a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. I like the way you talk. You're ironic, and
Thank
I
you
like
very
it.
much.
I'm having fun. Anyway, so I skipped to the end. So let me just touch on one more subject, which doesn't have anything to do with this, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we've seen how live music is getting more and more expensive with the years. My mom, when she was younger, she went to a Van Halen concert for
How fun,
amazing,
yeah.
for I don't know how much money.
Yeah.
But then I get to go to a concert and I have to stand in a virtual line for hours, and then it's gonna be the ticket's gonna be like 200, and then the festival that I just went to, it's like 350 euros for the
really
3
expensive,
days. Yeah. So do you think that live music is becoming a little bit of a thing of privilege?
Not necessarily, because it's just the money you don't spend on records is how I see it. Like we used to make, in the music industry, used to make money off of records, and now that's really hard to do, so we increase the ticket prices, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's still cheaper than it used to be.
Oh, sure.
Like if you bought like 10 CDs or whatever in a month and you went to 2 shows, like if you go to 2 shows now and you stream 10 CDs, that's probably cheaper still.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And yeah, well.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
despite that, people still can't pay sometimes.
I think it's like it'd be great if it was cheaper, but the reality of bringing like a band and a crew from Sweden to say New York, there's a lot of plane tickets and stuff.
Yeah, and hotels and everything. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And all that's everything. I mean, it's also inflation. Like, you know, a bottle of soda is 4 times as expensive as it was when your mom saw Van Halen.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
Or 10 or whatever it is.
But at the same time, like, how does it feel to know that some of your most loyal fans might not be able to afford your concert?
It's a shame,
right?
Yeah.
And does it happen to you when you play at a festival and like there's another big artist that plays like 2 bands after you, and then you see all the front row people like camping there, and then when you come up, they don't stand, and like, you know.
Oh, you mean that they don't react positively to our band?
Yeah, because they're waiting for the next one, and they just got there because they couldn't afford. And then actually,
yeah, because it gives me an opportunity to make fun of them. Like it's, you know, when we supported the Rolling Stones, and their crowd, you know, part of their crowd, a lot of them were really cool, but part of them only liked the Rolling Stones, and only everyone liked the Rolling Stones. They think like they proved the point more that if they don't like any other band. So they're just like standing there sighing and arms crossed and all that stuff. And it's just so fun to talk to them because they don't expect you to.
Oh, you do? You did?
Or like,
oh my God.
And then we finish playing. I say, don't leave, stick around. There's a good band from England on afterwards. And they get really mad, and I like that.
Oh,
I mean, I feel like my job is to make 70% of the crowd really happy and 30% a little mad. Like that's what I try to do. That's a good mix.
Oh my God, that's that's a headline.
That's a T-shirt.
That's a T-shirt. Oh my God, I love that. I didn't expect that. Yeah, because like it happened to me because I could see everyone sitting down. I was like, that's so disrespectful. But then if you take it that way, then it's amazing.
If I like go down there and poke at them and stuff, it's fun for everyone else in the arena.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I think a lot of people in crowds don't understand that you can see them, especially now when people are like filming everything on their phones and stuff. It's like they're watching TV, and you have to wake them up a little bit to like, you're actually here. I'm here. Like if I touch you, you can feel it. Like it's a different thing than watching it on, you know, if you're doing this, it's like you're watching it on YouTube but louder. So I see like, and also like the live music experience is about actually experiencing something that's happening now. So yeah, we have to wrestle a bit with that, like actually touch people and stuff.
Yeah, well,
so something happens, you know, so they understand that if you keep filming, you're gonna miss it.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, we just discussed before. Yeah, actually, makes a lot of sense. And well, you know, I wanted to tell you about this young artist from the UK. His name is Youngblood. And
oh yeah, I know him.
You know him?
Yeah.
He's really cool. And he said on a BBC interview that he would never play in festivals that are really expensive because that's like against his morals. Okay. And that he said that when he was a kid, like he used to go to live shows and that's how he created an identity and stuff.
Yeah, same here.
So he said that he would not. So
wasn't that connected to him starting his own festival though?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted to
imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. So then he went on to create the Bloodfest. Have you been?
And you don't think that was about making money?
Oh, obviously, for sure,
yeah,
for sure. But like, I don't know how that
So
works.
you're essentially saying don't go to the other festivals I'm playing, go to
Come
the
to
one
mine
I'm...
because it's cheaper. Yeah, but like...
That's fair enough. That's
yeah.
cool.
But have you been invited to the Bloodfest?
Not that I know of, no.
If you were, would you accept even though it meant being paid less, maybe?
I
don't know how
It's
it
on a
works.
case-by-case basis, and there's 5 of us in the band, so if we all agreed, we would.
Yeah.
We've done really cheap shows. We've done shows where we're paid a lot. We've done shows for like 30 years. We played for less than gas money. We played for millions of dollars. Like, we've done it all.
Yeah.
And we'll keep doing that.
Yeah, because
I think it makes sense to do both.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like if you like your job, then it's also about the having fun on stage, like. being
Well,
a
it's
sportsman.
only about that, but then I gotta pay rent and eat
Yeah.
food and all that.
Oh, call
And
me!
I think it's
call
fun-
me crazy. I need to feed my
and
kids.
it's also fun to get paid.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But yeah, there's a balance. There's a balance, to charging too much money and charging, too little money or whatever. Like, it's like, it's pretty far down on my priorities to figure out exactly the right thing to do in every case, because, there's other people involved. It's not just up to me.
Yeah.
But no, I wish it was cheaper, but I mean, I don't want to do it and lose money, I guess. I don't want to, go on a world tour and come home broke.
Yeah.
It just seems less fun than doing a world tour and coming back
Yeah, it's almost
and
like
having
it's.
been paid. Like, it's like no one would have a problem with me charging money if I was a carpenter. But because and I already explained that, like, you don't get paid for recorded music and all that stuff, but it's still something everybody has to poke at the artists, like they're making too much, like we're the problem.
Yeah.
If we have a ruling class of like 0.1% that sucks up 99% of the money, and we're talking about artists charging less or not for festivals, it's kind of this thing where, like, there was an argument. Like, my opinion is that there was an argument between 2 UK bands
Okay.
about who was working class or whatever it was. Like, you have slightly, like, so they're basically, here is the richest 0.1%. No, that's not usable in this scenario. And then here is the first band who claimed to be more working class than this band, who was this much higher. Like, is this really the problem? Like, the difference between these things, is that what we're going to spend our time discussing?
Yeah.
When this exists? No.
Genius. Brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure. Yep. I like that. Yeah. I think we're coming to the end. But
It's been fun.
it's been really fun. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
your thoughts. Thank you so much for the music.
Thank you
which
for your thoughts
I'm-
on our music.
I'm so.
And your thoughts that were just came out of you thinking about our music too.
I hope I didn't.
No,
didn't
it's
go,
great.
I hope I didn't
love
go
it.
too far off.
Yeah, most people don't even say what they think. They just say it's good, which is also nice. But thank you for making that extra
I
effort.
said both things. Hey.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, so when can everybody listen to this? I hear the album is
to
coming in
this
August.
podcast, or the record comes out on August 29th.
29 de agosto. All
Exactly,
right.
which is, kind of far from now.
Yep.
But that's as fast as they would let us, I suppose. So, I mean, there's a lot of work goes into.
I feel bad for them because I already got to listen to it.
Well, it's, you got to let other people do their job as well. My job is making the record, then other people's job to make sure everybody likes it. 29th and then we play Spain twice in November, 1st and 2nd of November.
And second. Yeah, see you
We're
on the
really
second.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Second is in Madrid and the first is in Barcelona. Say that again so people
Second is in Madrid, Movistar Arena, and the other one is in Barcelona, the first one, but I don't know what that place is called, but it's going to be cool.
Palo San Jordi. San Jordi Club.
San
Jordi.
Club. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Eh.